Welcome to the Network Plus Prepcast, your dedicated audio companion for mastering every objective on the CompTIA Network Plus certification exam. This series is produced by baremetalcyber.com. Email protocols provide the structure and rules that allow electronic messages to be sent, received, and synchronized across systems. These protocols enable communication between mail clients and servers, as well as between mail servers themselves. Each protocol serves a distinct function in the mail delivery process and operates over specific ports, often with both secure and unsecure versions. Knowing how these protocols work together is essential for configuring clients, troubleshooting delivery issues, and securing communications in enterprise networks. In the Network Plus certification exam, email protocols are commonly referenced in questions about application layer services, port numbers, encryption, and secure communication. Candidates are expected to identify which protocol handles sending, which ones manage receiving, and what ports they operate on. Questions may also involve recognizing the secure versions of each protocol and differentiating between use cases, like single debit downloads or multi-debit download synchronization. Email remains one of the most commonly used and administrated services in any organization, making these protocols foundational knowledge. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, or SMTP, is the primary protocol used to send email from a client to a server, or from one mail server to another. It operates on Transmission Control Protocol port 25 when used for traditional server-to-server communication. SMTP does not handle message retrieval or client inbox access. Instead, it pushes messages from the source to the destination mail system, where other protocols can be used to retrieve them.
Nice.
This separation of functions is essential to understanding how mail is delivered and accessed. Modern mail clients no longer rely on port 25 for submission. Instead, they use port 587, which is the standard port for SMTP with authentication and transport layer security. This secure method ensures that both credentials and message contents are encrypted during transmission. Port 587 is widely accepted by mail providers and is often required to prevent spam and unauthorized relay. It uses Start TLS to upgrade from an unencrypted session to a secure one, supporting secure submission without the need for implicit encryption on a separate port. Post Office Protocol version 3, or POP3, is one of the two main protocols used to retrieve email from a mail server. It operates on Transmission Control Protocol port 1010 and is designed to download messages from the server to the client. By default, POP3 deletes the message from the server after download, leaving the user with a local copy. This behavior limits multi-beacon access and does not support folder synchronization or server-side message management. POP3 is best suited for single-debit use cases or when server storage is limited. To address security concerns, POP3 can also be configured to use encryption. The secure version of POP3 operates on port 995 and encrypts the entire session using Secure Sockets Layer or Transport Layer security. This ensures that user credentials and downloaded messages are protected from eavesdropping. Using POP3 over an unencrypted connection is considered risky, especially on public networks where traffic could be intercepted. Many modern clients and servers block port 110 by default, requiring port 995 for POP3 connections. Internet Message Access Protocol, or IMAP, provides more advanced features than POP3. It operates on Transmission Control Protocol port 1043 and allows clients to access and manage messages directly on the server. IMAP supports multiple folders, message flags, and synchronization across multiple devices. This makes it the preferred choice for users who access their email from desktops, laptops, and mobile devices. Messages remain on the server until explicitly deleted, allowing full access regardless of device location. IMAP can also be secured using Secure Sockets Layer or Transport Layer security. The encrypted version of IMAP uses port 993, which provides end-to-end protection for login credentials, folder commands, and message content. Because IMAP sessions involve constant communication between the client and server to maintain folder status and message state, encryption is especially important. Secure IMAP is the standard for most mobile apps and modern email clients that require synchronization without compromising privacy. The differences between POP3 and IMAP are significant and affect how users interact with their email. POP3 downloads messages to the client and often removes them from the server, meaning messages are tied to a single device. IMAP leaves messages on the server and synchronizes actions across all connected devices. In addition, IMAP supports folder structures, flagging, and server-side search functions, making it more suitable for users with complex email management needs or those who access mail from multiple platforms. Each protocol plays a unique role within the broader mail delivery ecosystem. SMTP is used for sending messages, either from client to server or between mail servers. POP3 and IMAP are used for receiving and managing mail on the client side. These protocols are configured separately in most email clients, with the outgoing mail server using SMTP and the incoming mail server using either POP3 or IMAP. Understanding this separation is key to correctly setting up email accounts and ensuring reliable communication. Client behavior varies depending on the protocol in use. A client configured with POP3 will typically download messages and store them locally, removing them from the server in the process. This reduces server storage needs but limits accessibility. An IMAP configured client keeps messages on the server and synchronizes their status across all devices. This enables seamless access from smartphones, tablets, and desktop computers, preserving a consistent user experience regardless of device location or usage pattern. For more cyber content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Understanding the full path an email follows from sender to recipient requires knowing the roles that each protocol plays in the message delivery process. SMTP is responsible for sending the email from the client to the mail server and for transferring messages between servers. Once the message reaches the recipient's mail server, a retrieval protocol, either POP3 or IMAP, is used to access it. The domain name system plays a role as well, resolving mail exchange records or MX records to determine the proper destination server for each email based on the recipient's domain. A key distinction tested on the Network Plus exam is the difference between secure and insecure versions of these protocols. The unencrypted ports 25 for SMTP, 110 for POP3, and 143 for IMAP transmit credentials and message contents in clear text. This exposes them to interception, particularly over public or untrusted networks. Secure versions 587 for SMTP submission, 995 for POP3, and 993 for IMAP. Encrypt the session using SSL or TLS. These encrypted options should be used by default, and most modern mail servers reject connections to legacy ports unless configured otherwise. Troubleshooting email issues often begins with verifying that the correct ports are open and reachable from the client. Firewalls, mail filters, or service providers may block unencrypted ports or restrict access to reduce spam or misuse. Misconfigured email clients may use the wrong port, fail to authenticate properly, or attempt to connect without encryption. Additionally, mismatched encryption settings, such as attempting to connect to a server expecting SSL with a client set to use plain text, can result in failed logins or timeouts. Understanding the expected port and security requirements is essential to resolving these errors. Each protocol is associated with specific port numbers that are frequently asked about on the exam. SMTP uses port 25 for server-to-server communication and port 587 for secure submission from clients. POP3 uses port 110 for unencrypted connections and port 995 for encrypted connections. IMAP uses port 143 for plain text and port 993 for secure communication. These port numbers are foundational knowledge for network technicians and administrators, as they are referenced in firewall rules, service configurations, and troubleshooting logs. Authentication is another requirement that differs slightly between protocols. SMTP typically requires the sender to provide a valid username and password before a message can be relayed to another domain. This prevents unauthorized use of the mail server for spam. POP3 and IMAP also require user credentials to retrieve mail, and modern implementations may support additional forms of authentication, including token-based systems like OAuth. Understanding the authentication flow and ensuring proper credentials are in place is key to a successful connection. On the Network Plus exam, you should expect to see questions that test your ability to match each protocol with its role, sending or receiving, and to correctly identify its associated port numbers. You may be asked to identify which protocol leaves mail on the server and which one removes it after retrieval. Some questions may include descriptions of encrypted and unencrypted ports and ask which version is most appropriate for a given scenario. Recognizing these distinctions is critical not only for the exam but also for configuring secure and efficient mail services in real-world environments. In enterprise networks, email protocols are commonly used across multiple platforms. Desktop mail clients like Microsoft Outlook and Apple Mail typically use IMAP to maintain synchronization with the mail server and allow for consistent user experiences across workstations and mobile devices. POP3 is occasionally used in low-resource environments or when mail is stored locally for archival purposes. Internal mail servers handle the routing of messages using SMTP, while cloud services like Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace provide hosted versions of these same protocols, with additional security and redundancy. Best practices for email protocol configuration always begin with the use of encrypted ports. Whether connecting over SMTP, POP3, or IMAP, the secure versions of each protocol should be used by default. Clients and servers should be configured to reject unencrypted sessions, and legacy port access should be disabled unless absolutely necessary. Strong authentication, including complex passwords and multi-factor login options, should also be enforced. These steps protect against man-in-the-middle attacks, unauthorized access, and credential theft. To summarize the key roles, SMTP is the protocol used to send messages from the client to the server and from one server to another. POP3 is used to download messages from the server, usually removing them in the process. IMAP allows access to messages that remain on the server and provides full synchronization across multiple devices. Each protocol has secure and insecure versions, and understanding the difference between them, including port numbers and encryption methods, is a core part of the Network Plus certification and daily system administration duties. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Network Plus Prepcast, your trusted audio guide to the CompTIA Network Plus certification. This episode was produced by baremetalcyber.com. For more cybersecurity podcasts, books, and resources, visit baremetalcyber.com. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.